Welcome to the One Exam Prep channel, America's #1 contractor test prep school. We've created the ultimate Tennessee contractor license guide, drawing from years of experience and thousands of satisfied contractors. This is a comprehensive and long video covering the majority of contractor licenses in Tennessee, including exam requirements, application processes, and fees. We have a dedicated slide to each license. We've even included sample questions and answers from our courses to give you a preview of what to expect. Simply put, we are the experts in Tennessee contractor licensing, so let's dive in. In this ultimate contractor license guide, we're going to cover the following licenses listed here. So take a quick look, but we will cover them in depth in detail. First, let's start off with a summary of important information. The Tennessee Board for Licensing Contractors governs contractors. When is a license required? In general, contract licenses are required for projects over $25,000, home improvement projects $3,000 to $24,999 in certain counties. Limited license electricians, LLEs, are jobs less than $25,000. Limited license plumbers, LLPs, jobs less than $25,000. HVAC project less than $25,000. You want to check if an LLE may be required. And we're going to talk about when to submit an application to the state. The CMC and CMC-A license. The pre-approval application comes before the exams. Very important. But all other licenses, the application comes after the exams. Experience requirements. Contractors, projects $25,000 and over, proof of 3 years of experience. You must pass the business management exam and trade exam with a 73% or better, and we're going to check reciprocity as well. On the LLE and LLP licenses, those are the electrician and plumber, again, the 73% or better, except you only need the trade exam and proof of 1 year of experience on the LLP, and there are no reciprocal waivers there. So let's look at the reciprocity from other states. Exceptions and additional requirements for reciprocity. The reciprocating state must be the applicant's home or domiciled state, or a participating state where the applicant has taken a trade exam comparable to Tennessee's. If the applicant has taken a trade exam in a state that does not have a reciprocity agreement with Tennessee, they may need to take Tennessee's trade exam. If no trade exam was required in the applicant's state, there is no need to apply for reciprocity or an exam waiver. Contractors with disciplinary action, open complaints, or felony convictions are not eligible for a trade exam waiver. Tennessee licensing requirements. All applicants must pass the Tennessee Business and Law exam, which is administered by PSI. A complete license application must be submitted, including all financial requirements, insurance, and a board review. A contractor's license is required before bidding, contracting, or making an offer to engage in work. And violating this law may result in a 6-month hold on obtaining your license. Some other Tennessee licensing agencies and requirements. The Tennessee Reciprocity Trade Exam Waiver Agreement applies only to contractors licensed with the Board for Licensing Contractors. It does not apply to other licensing programs, and this includes the Home Improvement License, the LLE or LLP. It does not include the Alarm Systems Contracting Board for security alarm systems, the Division of Fire Prevention for fire sprinkler licensing, the Department of Environment and Conservation for geothermal licensing. Contractors must also comply with local government permit and inspection requirements. So now the bid preference law. Tennessee's bid preference law ensures that non-resident contractors are treated the same as Tennessee-based contractors when bidding on public construction projects. If a non-resident contractor's home state gives its own residents a bidding advantage, for example, adding a percentage to non-resident bids to increase their total cost, Tennessee will apply the same preference rule to that contractor when bidding on projects in Tennessee. Tennessee licensed contractors seeking reciprocity in other states. So Tennessee licensed contractors may contact a participating state's licensing agency for details on the reciprocity requirements. To request license verification from the Tennessee Board for Licensing Contractors, you're going to want to email contractors.homeimprovement@tn.gov or call 615-741-8307. You can also see here from this list the current states that have reciprocity and which exams follow that. A contractor's license is required before engaging in contracting activities, including bidding, offering to engage, or negotiating a price for projects valued at $25,000 or more. This requirement applies to the following. Number one, the prime general contractor, contractors bidding on or directly contracting with the owner of the project. And number two, the subcontractor, contractors working directly under a licensed contractor, not the owner, on projects where the total cost of their portion, including materials, equipment, and labor, is $25,000 or more in the following trades: electrical, mechanical, plumbing, HVAC, and roofing. Masonry for projects $100,000 or more. Subcontractors to subcontractors. If there is more than one subcontractor on a project, all subs must be properly licensed. Additional licensing requirements. Roofing contractors. Roofing subcontractors must hold a BC-21 roofing classification to work on projects $25,000 or more, and additional classifications such as BC or BC-B for commercial roofing, BC-A for residential roofing, and BC-C for industrial roofing. Masonry contractors. A BC commercial or a BC-9 masonry classification does not cover masonry projects $100,000 or more. For such projects, an LMC classification is required. Contractor license requirements. Licenses are assigned both a monetary limit and a classification. For example, residential, commercial, industrial, electrical, mechanical, heavy construction, highway masonry, municipal utility, environmental specialties, such as landscaping, excavation, roofing, solar panels, etc. Contractors must bid and contract under the same name as licensed. Coverage requirement. A contractor must hold a license classification covering at least 60% of the project. If their classification covers less than 60%, they may only bid if they hold a commercial classification. Those are the BC or the BC-B or the BC-BSM. However, they cannot perform work over $25,000 outside their classification and must subcontract that portion to a properly licensed subcontractor. This version is exactly what we're going to follow on each of the individual licenses. So the Tennessee BC combined residential, commercial, industrial contractor license. This license is for to bid on and contract for the construction, erection, alteration, repair, or demolition of any building or structure intended for public or residential use. This license also covers the construction of industrial structures, including manufacturing plants, water sewer plants. The exclusions to this are electrical, HVAC, and plumbing work over $25,000 that are not included under this license. Additional requirements. A construction manager must pass the BC trade exam. Roofing subcontractors must hold a BC-21 roofing classification for roofing projects $25,000 or more, and additional roofing classifications, the BC or BC-B for commercial roofing, BC-A for residential roofing, and BC-C for industrial roofing. Now, in terms of the business management law exam, it's 50 questions and you have 140 minutes. And on the trade exam, it's 100 questions and you have 300 minutes to pass. Next is the Tennessee BC-A residential contractor license. It authorizes the construction, remodeling, repair, or improvement of 1, 2, 3, or 4 family unit residences, provided they do not exceed 3 stories in height, including accessory structures related to these residences. A license is required for projects over $25,000. The scope of work. The BC-A contractors may bid and perform work in any of the 34 building categories for residential projects only. Roofing requirements. Roofing subcontractors must hold a BC-21 roofing classification for projects $25,000 or more. Additional classifications that we've already gone over are the BC and the BC-B, the BC-A, and the BC-C for different roofing classifications. The BC-A residential contractor exam, that is, you need the business management and law exam. Those are 50 questions in 140 minutes, and the trade exam, 100 questions in 300 minutes. Restricted limited residential license, which is the BC-A-R. Contractors constructing homes under $125,000 may waive the trade and business law exams by completing a limited license course at a local community college or vocational school. All other application requirements must be met, as only the exams are waived. The restrictions for the BC-AR license holders: the project valuation, including the land and profit, cannot exceed $125,000, and you're not allowed to joint venture or perform home inspections. To increase the monetary limit, the contractor must take the required BC-A trade exam and business and law exam and submit a reviewed financial statement prepared by a licensed CPA. The classification for this restricted license is the BC-A-R. Next, the BC-AB SM Combined Residential Small Commercial Contractor License. It authorizes contractors to work on both residential and small commercial projects within the following parameters. The residential scope permits the construction, remodeling, repair, or improvement of 1, 2, 3, or 4 family residences, provided they do not exceed 3 stories in height, including accessory structures related to these residences. A license is required for projects over $25,000. The small commercial scope, which is the BC-b classification, allows contractors to bid on and contract for the construction, erection, alteration, repair, or demolition of buildings and structures intended for public use, provided the total project cost does not exceed $750,000. The exam requirements are similar in that the business management and law exam has 50 questions in 140 minutes, and the trade exam is 100 questions in 300 minutes. Next is the BC-AB SM, which is the Combined Residential Small Commercial Contractor License, which authorizes contractors to work on both residential and small commercial projects within the following parameters. Within residential scope, which is the BC-A classification, it permits the construction, remodeling, repair, and improvement of 1, 2, 3, or 4 family residences, provided they do not exceed 3 stories in height, including accessory structures. A license is required for projects over $25,000. And the small commercial scope, which is the BC-b classification, allows contractors to bid on and contract for the construction, erection of buildings or structures intended for use, provided the total project cost does not exceed $750,000. And the exam requirements are very similar. 50 questions on the business exam in 140 minutes, and the trade exam has 100 questions in 300 minutes. The BC-AB Combined Residential Commercial Contractor License authorizes a broader scope of work, including residential construction and commercial construction. So the next one is the Tennessee BC-B Commercial Contractor License, which is authorized to bid on and contract for the construction, erection, alteration, repair, or demolition of any building or structure intended for public use. This includes residential buildings with more than four units or those exceeding 3 stories in height. A license is required for projects over $25,000. So additional requirements: a BC-B license is required to construct water sewer plants or obtain a municipal utility MU classification. Roofing requirements: roofing subcontractors must be licensed with a BC-21 classification over $25,000, and there's additional classifications which are for commercial, residential roofing, and industrial roofing. And the BC-B contractor exam information, the business exam, same, 50 questions, 140 minutes. And the trade exam is 100 questions in 300 minutes. There is an alternative exam option for this, which is the NASCLA National Commercial Trade Exam is accepted as an alternative for the BC-B commercial classification. Next, the Tennessee BC-b SM Small Commercial Contractor License, which is authorized to bid on and contract for the construction, erection, alteration, repair, demolition of any building or structure intended for public use and occupancy, provided the total project cost does not exceed $1.5 million. The monetary and limit requirements is determined based on the contractor's financial statement and experience, but cannot exceed $1.5 million. To increase the monetary limit, the contractor must pass the full BC-B, which is the commercial trade exam, and submit new financial statements as part of a revision request. And here are the exam requirements. You have 50 questions in 140 minutes for the business exam, and the trade exam is only 70 questions, but within 200 minutes. Next, the Tennessee BC-B Commercial Industrial Contractor License. It is authorized to bid on and contract, number 1, for commercial structures, buildings and structures intended for public use and occupancy, including residential buildings with more than 4 units, or those exceeding 3 stories in height, and industrial structures, facilities used for industrial production and services such as manufacturing plants. The scope of work. This classification allows contractors to perform work in any of the 34 building subcategories or commercial or industrial projects. Next is the exam requirements. The exam requirements is the same for business. You have 50 questions in 140 minutes, and the trade exam is 100 questions in 300 minutes. Next is the Tennessee BC-C Industrial Contractor License. And the classification is specifically used for manufacturing plants. There are roofing requirements here, which is similar to the others, larger ones, which is the BC-21 roofing classification for over $25,000. And if it's commercial, it is the BC-B or the BC for roofing, or BC-A for residential roofing, or the BC-C for industrial roofing. And the exam requirements: 50 questions in 140 minutes on the business exam, and 100 questions in 260 minutes on the trade exam. Next, we're moving on to the Tennessee CE Electrical Contractor License. This is authorized to perform electrical work on residential, commercial, and industrial projects. This includes wiring for all building types, low voltage systems, electrical signage, burglar and security systems, fire detection systems, electrical temperature controls, roadway lighting, and other signalization. The licensing requirements: both prime and subcontractors must hold a CE electrical contractor license to legally perform electrical work in Tennessee. The exam requirements: again, the business exam, 50 questions in 140 minutes, and the trade exam is 72 questions in 210 minutes. Next, we have a variation, the CE-A high voltage electrical contractor license. This is for authorized to perform electrical work exceeding 600 volts, including transmission lines and substations. And in terms of the exam, you have 50 questions in 140 minutes for the business exam, and the trade exam is 60 questions in 160 minutes. Next, the CMC full mechanical contractor license is authorized to perform a wide range of mechanical work, including HVAC, refrigeration, gas piping, plumbing, solar HVAC systems, process piping, sprinkler and fire protections, HVAC systems installation, pollution control systems, pneumatic tube systems, pneumatic temperature control systems, and boiler construction and repair. The exam requirements: again, the business exam, 50 questions in 140 minutes, and the trade exam is 120 questions in 325 minutes. Next is a variation, the CMC-A mechanical plumbing contractor license. It authorizes to install, repair, alter, remodel, or remove various plumbing systems, including water supply systems, waste and storm drainage systems, non-medical gas piping. And there is exam pre-approval requirements here. Applicants must be pre-approved before taking the plumbing trade exam. And in terms of the exam requirements, you have 50 questions in 140 minutes for the business exam, and the trade exam is 110 questions in 295 minutes. The CMC-C mechanical HVAC refrigeration contractor license, authorized to install, maintain, and service HVAC systems, refrigeration systems, gas piping, solar HVAC systems, and geothermal HVAC equipment. The exam requirements: you have 50 questions in 140 minutes for the business exam, and 100 questions in 260 minutes for the trade exam. Next is the CMC-D mechanical fire, sprinkler, and protection contractor license. Authorized to install, maintain, and service fire, sprinkler, and fire protection systems. There are additional licensing requirements. The contractors must also obtain licenses as a firm and responsible managing employee, or RME, through the Tennessee Division of Fire Prevention. In terms of the exam, the business exam is the same, 50 questions, 140 minutes, and the trade exam is 77 questions in 195 minutes. Next, you have the masonry contractor license is required for masonry projects exceeding $100,000. The requirements: prime masonry contractors must be licensed for projects $25,000 or more. Subcontractors must be licensed only when the total masonry cost is $100,000 or more. The BC commercial or the BC-9 masonry classifications do not cover masonry projects over $100,000. An LMC classification is required there. In general, the masonry contractor exam, you have 50 questions in 140 minutes for the business exam, and the trade exam is 70 questions in 200 minutes. Next is the limited licensed electrician, or LLE license. It is required in approximately 65 Tennessee counties that have permit issuing agents. This license allows electricians to perform electrical work on projects valued under $25,000, including materials and labor. The key considerations before applying: verify with local code enforcement that an LLE license is accepted for obtaining permits and inspections, and an LLE cannot advertise as a contractor unless they hold a full contractor's license. For HVAC installations, a licensed electrician must handle the electrical work and obtain the necessary permits for inspections. For this, only the trade exam is required. It is 40 questions in 130 minutes. The limited licensed plumber, or LLP license. It is again required in approximately 65 Tennessee counties that have permit issuing agents, and it allows plumbers to perform plumbing work on projects valued under $25,000, including materials and labor. Plumbing work includes the construction, alteration, repair, improvement, movement, or demolition of plumbing systems within residential or commercial buildings involving piping fixtures and appliances for the supply of gas, water, or liquids, wastewater, or sewage disposal systems. The exceptions: an LLP is not required for plumbing work performed outside of buildings such as utility connections or irrigation systems. And the exemptions: plumbing appliance installations and repairs under $500 may not require a license. The licensing requirements: projects under $25,000, an LLP license is required in certain counties, and $25,000 or more, a state contractor license with a CMC or CMC-A plumbing classification is required instead of an LLP. However, local permit and inspections must still be obtained as required by the city county enforcement office. Key considerations before applying: verify with local government offices if an LLP license is accepted or for obtaining permits and inspections, or if a local journeyman master plumbing license is required. A business tax license may be required by local government. An LLP cannot advertise as a contractor unless they hold a full contractor's license, and LLP exams are not reciprocal with other state plumbing licenses. Experience requirement: you must have at least 1 year of plumbing experience. It is only a trade exam for 40 questions in 135 minutes. Building categories and trade classifications that have no exam required. The following building categories and trade classifications do not require an exam but are based on equipment and experience. Here are some important licensing rules. Non-tested trade or specialty license holders cannot perform electrical, mechanical, or plumbing work exceeding $25,000. Such work must be subcontracted to a properly licensed contractor. Contractors must cover at least 60% of the project under their classification or hold a commercial, which is a BC or BC-B classification. Any work over $25,000 outside their classification must be subcontracted to a properly licensed contractor. A contractor cannot hold 6 or more building categories under a single major classification. And subcontractors do not need a contractor's license for the work listed below unless performing roofing or masonry is indicated. So here's a number of different classifications that do not require exams. So take a quick look here. And here on the next slide, we see additional ones classes that are not requiring exams. Specialty license classifications. They're designated for specific type of contracting where the board defines the exact scope of work allowed under the license. The exam and certification requirements. No trade exam is required for specialty classifications. Applicants must pass the business and law exam and demonstrate relevant experience. Some specialties may require additional certifications. So this is not a complete list. You can give us a call for the complete list, but this gives you a good idea of the ones that only require a business exam. Next, we're going to give you some sample questions here this is from the test from our course from the Tennessee NASCLA business exam, which is required for the majority of licenses in Tennessee if it requires a business exam. So you can quickly take a look here. You can pause this video and try to test yourself. And next, I'm going to give you the answers. So number 1, the answer is C. Number 2, the answer is D. Number 3, the answer is A. Number 4, the answer is A. And number 5, the answer is C. Here are sample questions from our Tennessee BC-AB Combined Residential Commercial Contractor, and this is from the IRC, or the International Residential Code 2018. Again, you can pause this video here if you want to test yourself or practice on these. The answers are number 1, C, number 2, B, number 3, C, number 4, A, and number 5, D. This next sample question is from, again, the same contractor license course, but this is from the OSHA part, one of the OSHA books that are required. Again, you can pause this video or you can try to test yourself. The answers are number 1A, number 2C, number 3B, number 4A, number 5C. Here we have sample questions, again, from the same license course, except this is from the roofing, construction, and estimating. Again, you can pause here to test yourself, but the answers are number 1D, number 2D, number 3D, number 4D, number 5C. All right, next we're going to get into the details of your application. Required information for contractor license application for projects $25,000 and over. To apply for a contractor's license, applicants must submit the following within 6 months of opening their application. Register with the Tennessee Secretary of State for corporations and LLCs. You must register with the Secretary of State, and then the experience is not required if experience is entered online or resumes are attached. You need the contractor's affidavit. The reference form must be completed by a past client, employer, or local code official. Next, the power of attorney for qualifying agent, or the QA, is not required if the QA has at least 20% ownership, or a QA cannot be listed on more than one license unless they own at least 20% of the company. Next, the license verification, required only for applicants requesting reciprocity for a trade exam waiver. Trade exam waivers are available only for certain states, as we viewed earlier on the reciprocity list. And then workers' compensation exemption, applicable only for applicants without employees claiming the handyman exemption. And citizenship eligibility verification, required only for sole proprietors. Additional attachments and documentation. Financial statement must be prepared by a certified public accountant, CPA or PA, in the required format. The review level is required for monetary limits of $3 million or less. The audit level is required for monetary limits exceeding $3 million. Corporate documents, required only for corporations and LLCs, not applicable to sole proprietors. Your exam scores. The applicants must submit the business law and trade exam scores or provide the BC-AR certificate if applicable, and license verification for applicants seeking exam reciprocity. And certificate of insurance, the proof of general liability insurance and workers' compensation insurance or the workers' comp exemption. And disclosures or letters of explanation if applicable. The application fee is $250. Processing time. Applications are processed in the order they are received. The standard processing goal for Tennessee is 30 days from submission. Delays may occur if the application is incomplete or contains deficiencies. Meeting the eligibility requirements. While the application comes after the exams, it is important to keep these requirements in mind before getting started. Experience. Proof of 3 years of relevant construction experience is required. Experience should list projects with contract amounts and the scope of work performed. The board will use this information to determine your monetary limit and license classification. You may list projects performed as a prime contractor, subcontractor, or as an employee of a contractor. Out-of-state projects may be included. If you list projects that would have required a Tennessee license, provide an explanation to avoid delays. Otherwise, an interview may be required. Number 1, letter of recommendation. Submit a reference letter from a past client, employer, or code official commenting on your experience. Pursuant to the Tennessee law, out-of-state letters are acceptable. References from family members or employees of the applicant are not accepted. Number 2, financial statement. Contact a CPA to prepare a financial statement in the required format. A review is required for limits of $3 million or less, and an audit is required for limits exceeding $3 million. Insurance. Provide proof of general liability insurance and workers' comp insurance. Again, the workers' comp exemption can be filed if you have no employees. Ensuring all these elements are properly documented will help streamline your application process and avoid delays. The licensing exam is challenging but manageable with the right preparation. It's divided into 2 separate exams, as we have seen. Number 1, the business and law. This portion tests your knowledge of operating a construction business, including topics like contract, project management, and legal responsibilities. And number 2, the trade knowledge. This portion dives into the technical knowledge required for your specific license type. Here are some tips to help you succeed. Acquire all reference materials. Use the list provided in the exam bulletin to ensure you have all the approved resources. Highlight and tab these materials for ease of reference, but make sure tabs are permanently affixed and do not write in the books. Use practice exams. Gauge your readiness by taking practice exams to familiarize yourself with question formats and time limits. Focus on areas where you need improvement. As you practice, aim to recognize keywords in the questions that point you to the correct book and section for the answer. Set aside dedicated study time. Schedule at least 30 hours of study for the business and law portion and another 30 hours for the trade exam. Consistent, focused preparation is key to passing both sections. By preparing strategically and using these resources effectively, you will be well equipped to pass the exams and move one step closer to licensure. So by understanding the license types, meeting eligibility requirements, preparing for the exams, and submitting a flawless application, you're setting yourself up for success. Here at One Exam Prep, we make the process even easier with our comprehensive services. Highlighted in tab books. Renting books from us is the most cost-effective way to prepare for your exams. All reference books are professionally highlighted and tabbed for easy navigation, saving you valuable time during your test. We have comprehensive online courses, as you saw. Exam simulators. Our practice tests replicate the real exam environment to build confidence and improve time management. Business exam preparation is focused training on business and legal topics to ensure you're ready for the exam. Trade exam preparation, in-depth coverage of trade-specific topics, ensuring you master the material and excel on your trade exam. We have live class instruction, engage in interactive instructor-led classes where you can ask questions, learn directly from our experts, and connect with peers to deepen your understanding. We have one-on-one tutoring. Receive personalized support and tailored to your specific needs, allowing you to focus on challenging topics and optimize your preparation strategy. And of course, we have application assistance. We help you prepare and submit your application, ensuring it's complete, accurate, and compliant with Tennessee's requirements. Our team will assist in gathering and organizing necessary documentation, including employment verifications, tax records, and financial statements. And we have expert support. Our team provides personalized guidance on study strategies, test taking techniques, and navigating Tennessee's licensing requirements. If you have questions or need further assistance, feel free to contact us. We're here to help you every step of the way. Renting books, accessing top tier courses, and leveraging our expertise can make your licensing journey cost effective and successful. Good luck on your path to becoming a licensed contractor in the state of Tennessee. For more information, please go to our website at oneexamprep.com, email us at sales@oneexamprep.com, or call us at 901-660-9902.